5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, good day, goodbye, hello, wherever you are in the world. One of them will apply to you. Wherever I've just said that. This is LTID TV. I've absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, but then you've known that for 4 years. Thank you for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube, and if you are watching on Twitch tonight as well, welcome back. Do get your comments in and join in with the chat. You will see them all appear down here as we go along, and no doubt at one point we'll get somebody popping in from Twitch asking us to subscribe or telling us they can buy us subscribers. Who needs it? And if you are watching on catch up, add your comments in below. Thank you very much. We always appreciate reading those. And if you are listening via your favourite podcast platform, thank you for lending me your ears. And if you do see me go off camera and disappear for a few minutes, I am currently having a battle of wills with a seagull. We have a nest, and if you've heard the show recently, you'll have probably heard them in the background. In fact, we have a nest. They sort of live, obviously, as you know, I live by the coast, and they've got a nest on the roof. And the little baby has been thrown out of the nest, and the parents have flown away, but he hasn't learned to fly yet. So at the moment, he's just perching himself on my terrace, shitting all over it. So when I walk out, I'm like trying to walk between the shit. But they're a protected species. What can we do? The thing is, of course, that's the joy of living by the sea. If I lived in a bay, of course, they'd be called bagels. Let's talk Leicester. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you?
Good evening, Christopher.
Did you get my little bagel joke there?
I did, yeah, but I was also waiting for you to introduce two different kinds of shits. That's what I was waiting for, and I feel like you missed a trick there.
I'm hurt.
That's what I was expecting.
I'm hurt that you would even think that. I mean, you two are the ones that have been insulting today. I'm being very nice.
Wow.
Make the most of it. It's not going to
what he's talking about, Kate.
Huh?
I don't know what he's talking about.
No, me neither.
I'm taking all my anger out on this bloody bird. I've got to just sort of, it's like just outside my patio door here. All I've got is loads of shit all over the place. Loads of shit. But there we go. Jack will be joining us in a second. We'll just catch up with a couple of comments. Kevin, good evening. He says, is anybody there? We were waiting for Kate. She was took her time in makeup. Mind you, at least she went to makeup. It's more than great.
I
mean,
well, he said he was nice.
I know.
That is me being nice. You know, like you said, you paid me a compliment.
Refund.
Craig's in. Hi, Craig. Clibo is in. Tav is in. Hi, Valtieri is in. Lumsey is in. Hello. Wayne is there as well. Spencer is in. Those bloody seagulls, Chris says, Wayne. No wonder we don't see you eating fish and chips. No. I tell you what, a couple of years ago, I had a water fight with one of them, trying to get him away. The parent attacked me. If I'd been wearing a wig, it would have disappeared. I had marks on my head for weeks. Wayne says the good old.
You had a water fight with a seagull.
Well, you've got to be careful. I don't want to turn this into sort of, David Attenborough's bird show or anything, but they're a protected species.
Surely there has to be two of them, one to hold the bag and another to turn the tap on. Otherwise, how are they getting their water bombs?
It's a bit of a one-sided water fight. I won't lie.
Basically, you attack.
I can't do anything more because, for some reason, they're bloody protected. We need protection from them. Yeah, they're because of it's the ecosystem, blah, 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 whatever that is, Wayne, I'm not sure what we say, dream team. Do you mean nightmare?
Yeah, why have I come to this? I'm getting upset.
Hey, I don't know about you, but I've got other things I can be doing.
I know, me too.
Niall is in. Hi, Niall. Azza is in. And let's get our fourth guest come in. Now I've run out of insults for everybody. I've got to remember which one it is. That's 3 packs. Somewhere I've got a 4 packs one. Here we go. There you go. Jack, good evening, sir.
How are we? You okay?
Hi,
We're
Jack.
all right.
Hi, Jack.
Hello.
Let's start because look, the title of the show is, and we'll get off seagulls now because I'm going to be dreaming about them tonight. Have anybody watched that film Birds? By the way,
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
That's how I feel. Can I say? It's just when they say it's lucky for a bird to poop on you, no, it's fucking not. You've got about 3 or 4 of them flying over your head. But look, let's go. Look, the show is called Are We Championship Ready? Let's go around. Let's start with Craig first because he's on top. I'm not making any joke about that whatsoever. Craig, we did sort of briefly discuss this while we were waiting for Kate to join us. Are you feeling excited by the new season?
I'm always excited by a new season because I just like football being back. Whether I'm excited about us, somewhat, I'm expectant and cautiously optimistic that we'll have a decent season. I think there's a lot to play for between now and the window closing. It'll be interesting to see what the squad's like at the end of the window. But as it stands, we've got more than enough to be very competitive in this division, I would say.
Kate, saying football's never been away, that's very, I can't even say the word, typical male thing to say. We've had the Women's Euros.
Yeah, I share Craig's views, really. I'm quietly optimistic. I really enjoyed Sunday, which really gave me a taste for the new season. I wasn't unexcited about Sunday, but it was such a poor season last season. You felt like you lost the love a little bit, and it was a well-needed break during the summer. But Sunday was brilliant. I really enjoyed it. I really like what I've seen of Marty so far, what he's doing with the team and the philosophy and the tactics. It was obviously great to see Fatawi back. You always worry about what he's going to come back like. Yeah. And it looks like the game's going ahead. So, yeah, all is well so far. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to the season, looking forward to what we've got to show for ourselves, really.
Yeah, Ray, there's your answer, mate. It does look like it's going ahead, as Kate says. Jack, look, we spoke last night, didn't we?
Didn't we, Chris?
We did. In fact, I've not been home. I'm still in your kitchen. But it's pre-season, and you cannot. Dor came on your show, and somehow he got through the vaccinations. And he came on the show and said, he wasn't particularly keen about pre-season games, but that's probably because they'd just lost one. They are what they are, but we do still want to see our team win. And those first few games that we saw, we were not so ready. We won everything, didn't we? Sometimes with a bit of luck. Then Cologne came along, and it was like, oh bugger, this is what happens when we play a real team.
Yeah.
And then Fiorentina came along, and I was like, who is this team in blue? Where's this team been for 18 months? Can somebody please tell me? And it's really given me renewed hope, shall we say, for the season.
Yeah, same here. I walked out of Bournemouth away last season. I was distraught. Couldn't be asked with it, to be honest. The amount of beatings I took last season watching my own team from the stands, it took its toll in the end. I was ready to get the white coat out, Chris, to be honest, and strap myself into a mental health unit, I'll be honest. But there
have been 32,000 people in front of you. That's the only problem.
But no, Leicester, the fitness levels are fantastic. Andy King did well until Marty Cifuentes come in. And I think Leicester fans have really got on board with the appointment. You can see what he wants to do, how they've progressed in pre-season. When they're really pressing from the front, the quick transition, we're playing a lot more quicker and fluent football. And this is what Spanish managers like, isn't it? They like that style of football, and he's learned a lot. And you can see the teams really starting to get into it. When they do gel, then they really get going. So, yeah, you look at the Cologne game, it two teams split in two. When one played a poor Ukrainian side, and then Cologne, when you had Vestergaard and Cody at the back, which it's not really going to help you, is it? It's probably lost, to be fair, but we did. And then it was how we responded against Fiorentina, and they're a good side. They did bring on the better players in the end, and Leicester City showing what Marty Cifuentes has been doing on. But like I say, it's early days in the Marty era. But hopefully we'll be having a Marty party at the end of the season.
Oh, you got that one in. Craig, I thought you'd gone down the pit then for a minute. But
it did go dark, didn't it? I was providing some contrast to the light that appears to be pervading this pre-season.
Oh, big words. Don't know what they mean, so I'll just go along with you.
Massive. He's got a thesaurus next to him, isn't
he? He is. Yeah, I mean, look, I've enjoyed pre-season. And I have to say, hats off to Andy King for keeping the ball rolling. And look, I remember when we had Claudio come in, he came in and he had Shaky there, rest in peace, that could, tell him about the players. Because he was coming in, obviously, he didn't know any new managers, didn't know anything straight away about the players. But he had, Craig as sort of the link, between the players and him. And I feel like Marty's got that with Andy King this season.
I think it was important. I mean, I don't think we should overplay it because, Andy King hasn't been there that long. He's been at the club a long time, but he was only brought in last season. So it's not like he's been there bringing the kids through. But I think he does provide that transition and that link. And I think you could see from the early training sessions that they were actually, he wasn't there just to make up the numbers and just for a sort of PR stunt, to make it look like, oh yeah, we've kept Andy King in. He looked like he was integral to what was going on, and they were tapping into what he knew about the current players and the players coming through. So I think it was important for Marty to do it, and I think it was important for the players, and I think it was important for the fans to see it as well. So I think it was a massive tick in a box that was much needed.
Okay, I totally agree with what Craig said there, but not, when Rude came in, he hadn't really, all right, he'd got Steve Cooper's staff for a week or so, but there was no link there. If he decided to play, Manson up in attack, there was nobody there that could have told him, don't do that. He can't play there. Nobody's yet told Marty that Daka can't play as a striker, but we live in hope that he may discover that at some point. But do you feel? I mean, just the difference in the team from even when King was in charge. I've never seen us go forward. Like I said, my biggest thing about the pre-season is that I've discovered there's two halves to a pitch. Because I think, the Leicester players have forgotten that, over that halfway line, they could actually go into that part of the pitch.
Yeah, and it's also not rugby, so you're allowed to pass forward. Wow, who knew?
Good point.
It was really refreshing at the weekend and all of pre-season. I think Kingy deserves a lot of credit because he's obviously brought his own nature of playing into the team as a coach as well, with in terms of his fitness was never questioned when he played for us and when he went on to Bristol as well. Like, he was one of the fittest players in the team and always ready to go, and he clearly wanted to put his own ethos onto the team, and he's made them look fitter than I've seen them in a while. I mean, when you look how lean and fit Fataru looked as well at the weekend, he's clearly been in the gym in the 9 months that he's been out. He's been stacking up, he's been building his body to make sure that it never happens again. And just the press I was really impressed with. There was quite a high press. You know, it was just so high energy throughout the match. And, you know, you've got your likes of Hamza that can always run for days. Those players never let you down, but it just seemed to be across the board that was really good. And, you know, even when we got it into the middle parts of the pitch with Samari and Skip, like, you expected, oh, that's going to go back to Yannick, but it didn't. They turned and they went forward, and it took me by surprise quite a few times, because it's just become so predictable with Leicester as an amateur watching football, let alone what professional coaches must think when they played us last season. We've become so predictable. So it was great to see we're finally using some of our pace. And I feel like Marty's come in with a plan, and I don't think that's happened with the last two managers. I think with Rude and with Cooper, they were kind of making do and seeing if certain pegs fitted in certain holes, and most of the time they didn't. It was a bit of guesswork along the way. And I suppose you could give Rude credit for not having a pre-season, but he's still a professional footballer and a manager who should have been better equipped, really, and even had his own number two, not necessarily a whole squad of staff, but at least number two. So Marty could come in, and I feel like we've got a safe pair of hands. I don't want to jinx it, but he seems to be a man with a plan. He knows what he wants. He's confident in that. And I think that's what players need. They need direction, and that's what hopefully he's going to bring.
I mean, Jack, again, good points. But Jack, I did a show yesterday with Wayne where there's a piece, and I've said to Craig before, if you haven't read it yet, you haven't subscribed to The Athletic, it is great journalism. Unfortunately, there's not going to be a lot of Leicester coverage next season because they don't really cover the Championship. And I think Rob Tanner's been sent to do rugby or some cricket or something instead. But end of last season, he did a brilliant piece about Ruud van Nistelrooy. But I take on board what Kate says. You know, he didn't have a pre-season. He didn't have his number two, you know, a number two of any description straight away. But when you lose 14 out of 15 games, even you, me, Kate and Craig would realise something was going wrong and we needed to change something. And it seems like Marty can read that, and he can. I mean, we're going to see him obviously when he's doing proper substitutions and everything. But everything we were doing under Marty was everything we weren't doing under Ruud. I mean, like Kate said, passing forward. As I said, getting into the opposition half, pressing. On the weekend, we seemed to be going from, I was watching it on YouTube, but going, you know, we were getting most of the first balls, even going in for the second balls. There was a hunger there that just wasn't there last season.
Yeah, that was the issue with Van Nistelrooy. You didn't know what you were going to get. He didn't utilise his tools, did he? All he did was complained and then just gave up when he...
Well, he was the biggest tool, let's be honest with you.
There were a few of them on the pitch as well, even in the first one. You can criticise, but Marty Cifuentes seems to know what he's got. He's got an abundance of players who can play a lot in positions. He's got a lot of defenders he can pick from, a lot of midfielders, wingers. The only thing he can't really pick from is a striker. He's only got Ayew and Daka. So I know it don't really give you much hope.
Don't forget the legend that is Bobby Dakova-Reid.
Yeah, I forgot about him. He's been missing for the last summer, and I don't know where he's been. Now he's all of a sudden back again. But no, you can see that he wants to change things. He's going from Fatawu to McAteer, from Mavididi to Jeremy Monga. So it shows that he can change up when he needs to. And obviously this season, 46 games is a long season for Leicester. It's about having that amount of players you can, because in the Championship, you can only have like 25 players, is it, in your man squad, plus the youngsters as well. So I
believe he doesn't include goalkeepers for some reason. I'm not sure about that, but
yeah, I do like the way we pressed at the weekend. You know, Jordan Ayew's work rate's been phenomenal. Under Ruud van Nistelrooy, he looked like he'd given up after 5 minutes, I'll be honest. You look at Skip and Samare, like Kate says, last season they were going backwards and we were just slow to build up and we'd stay in our own half. It's like they're actually looking to go forward rather than backwards. And the defence is is looking good. You look at Caleb Bacola, I picked him up all pre-season. He's proving that he's going to be doing it in the Championship next season. So
he went on his little run, didn't he, as well, which I got really excited about.
I think it's fantastic. This is what you want to see, though. You want to see that the manager can trust these players. But like Marty says, you've got to earn your place in the squad. It's not given right that you get it, so you work hard. And this is what I like from the manager regarding how he's handling things as well.
Craig, we spoke before, so we came live, and when we know we're not going to make a load of signings, and signings we do will be, the cheaper end of we're back shopping at Aldi now. We had got up to Waitrose at one point, but we're back down into Aldi and Lidl. But when you look at the squad we've got, and I've been watching a few of the non-Leicester channels, and one guy said, as things stand, even without making any purchase, Leicester have probably got the strongest squad in the Championship. We're looking at all these youngsters that are now coming through. I don't think necessarily, if we weren't to make any more signings because of the money, I still think we've got a damn good team there.
Yeah, as I said to you, that when I was looking at the team and putting the squad together and the formation, really we've got 3 players for every position. We could put 3 teams out. So for me, if we delve into the transfer market, it's either someone who's got bags of potential with a resale value, or it's someone who can make a difference and come straight into the first team. Because there's no point just bringing players in who are going to sit on the bench, because you're just blocking the youngsters coming through. So I think we're in a strong position. I think we can be strengthened. I think midfield is an area where I still think we can strengthen, and up front. But I think we're in a good place, and we've got enough players. And a lot of those players are versatile as well. So we talk about JJ being able to play both fullback positions. Aluko, one of the young kids, can play fullback or centre half. I think a few of these players can switch around, because I think we're not great defensive midfielder. I would have liked him at some point to have tried Nelson as a defensive midfielder as well, because I think he's got the ball playing ability to do it, and I think we're strong enough at centre half. I think he's got the ability to be able to step out, and I would have liked to have seen him in there, because I think he could work both ways. But apart from that, I think we're in a good space.
Kate, you're looking at the formation he's been putting out, which is the same as most managers do these days, 4-2-3-1. Do we really, really need, and I know people have been saying this all last season, do we need 2 defensive midfielders who a lot of the time seem to be just getting in each other's way?
I suppose it depends on the opposition, really. I thought Samare and Skip worked quite well together in the double pivot at the weekend. I think as long as you've got them doing different roles at all times, you can't both be in the defensive nature all the time. You need to have one that's pushing forward, so you do complement each other and constantly flick between, and you need to have yourself switched on for that enough. Winks did it amazingly well in the Championship season, and he showed how difficult it was, plus integrating Ricardo when he did the inverted right back as well. So obviously Marty wasn't doing that with Hamza at the weekend, but they work really well together. So I think it just depends on the opposition, really, and who we've got available in terms of the fringe players. With if Bilal goes, you've got a hole to fill there. I personally think he'll stay, but it's going to be difficult to fill that void if he goes, because you haven't really got a perfect player like him waiting in the wings. So he'll just have to see. But I don't mind 2 defensive midfielders if the opposition suits it, but I would like to see us move away and just try and get some more goals, because when you think of that, the 3 in particular, let alone who we're going to play as a number 9, but the 3 in particular, there's bags of goals waiting there if we can keep hold of them all, bags of goals and assists. And I just think that's going to be the main thread of the play, is playing the width of the pitch, because those players hung out wide, and playing those wingers in their true sense of the word will be quite refreshing to see, because we just haven't seen it for so long. So they might even cut out that midfield part a lot of the time when we're going forward, because he seems to like to play with the width.
I think the other thing, quickly, is the fact that Marty likes his fullbacks to bomb on. So having that extra bit of protection, I guess, and I think that I've said this before, Chris. I think that's what made JJ look like he had such a bad season last season, that he was being asked to push forward, but there was no one with any intelligence to fill in the gaps behind him. So I think with your two defensive midfielders, I would hope that you need an intelligent player to play one of those positions to see where the gap is and then go and fill it. So I think because he likes those fullbacks pushing on, maybe that's why he prefers that two defensive midfielders.
Especially if you're going to lose the ball a lot. I think we might lose the ball a lot because we're not playing retention football anymore. We're playing we need to go and score a goal, which is quite nice to see. But there will be a higher rate of turnover, and some of these teams will be rapid as well. And I just think if you're going to play Vestergaard, which he may well do, that frightens the life out of most fans in terms of being quick on the counter, and Vestergaard's left stranded. So you're going to need people to make sure that that's covered as well.
That's it. And if you don't, if you're not playing possession football, I'm not sure you need Vestergaard, to be honest. But that's another point.
Well, we will go through the team in a bit of detail soon, and Vestergaard may well get a mention or two. Jack, the team that we saw starting on Sunday, how close do you think that is to the team that will be lining up against Sheffield Wednesday?
I think it'll be quite close, to be fair. Justin had started at the start of the season, to be honest, but he's obviously injured at this minute in time, supposedly. So Mads, some Leicester fans were surprised to see him start, but that shows with West Ham that they're not willing to pay the money that Leicester City want. So he'll be staying unless somebody else comes in for him. So I think, looking at the team, realistically, I'd take Vestergaard out and put Ben Nelson there with Okole. I think that's the sort of way I'd go about it next season. Ricardo, it's getting him fit in it from all these injuries all the time. You keep in like a vicious circle with Ricky P.
Ricky P is why the NHS is losing money. He spends more time, at Leicester General than he does on the King Power.
No, I think the El Kanous, Mavidide and Fatawu would be like your front three on the wings and centre attacking mid. I think Ayew will be the striker. Hamza Chowdhury, I'd love to see him as that inverted fullback, to be honest. I like it. He did it at Sheffield United quite well last season with Chris Wilder, so I'd keep him there. It's just a midfield, isn't it? I asked a friend earlier, someone said, you've got three midfielders. You've got Skip, Samara and Harry Winks. Which two do you actually go without the three? Do you go with Samara and Winks, or do you stick with Skip and Samara? Because I ain't happy about Harry Winks and Oliver Skip playing together. I've seen enough in that Cologne game, to be honest, to know that ain't working. So,
well, again, we will come on to those two in detail in a second. But look, you two were all at the game. I wasn't. But we all knew Fatawu. I mean, that goal was absolutely amazing. And I said last night on your channel, Jack, just give him the goal of the season. Let's just get tap-ins. Nobody's going to beat that for skill. I don't think. But taking him out of the frame, and when I'll start with Craig, but I'll go around all of you the same question. Name me a player, different to what somebody else has said, that impressed you from that game. Because look, they're all, you got all of those players, whatever the performance, even the Sumaris and the Vestergaards, they were putting in better performances than they were last season. Look, Fatawu, like I said, was great to come back. But who impressed you outside of Fatawu, Craig?
I mean, there was two in particular, but I won't name both of them because I'm sure someone else will. But I was really pleased to see Mavidide getting at his fullback as well. He gets a lot of criticism, Mavidide, but for me, he's always been the one who wants to try and take a fullback on. Sometimes he doesn't have the support around him, so he turns back. Sometimes he'll put in crosses that don't find the mark, but he always seems a positive player. But I think he's a confidence player as well. But I was really, really happy to see him looking more like his old self and getting around the outside and looking to be progressive every time he got the ball. I can't remember him sort of giving an easy pass backwards and just getting rid of the ball, to be honest. He looked to try and do something. So although there was someone in the back line that I thought played really well and was very impressive, I'll go with Mavidide.
Okay.
Yeah, my pick would have been Akoli, I think. I just thought we finally see the size and stature of the guy and the aggression that he can show. And he was really dominant, I thought. And some of his forward play was really good. He was like trying to keep up with Skip, I think, at one point, and Bilal. And it was great to see. He saw the opportunity was there and he wants to take advantage of it. And I just thought he played really well. And I felt with a couple of players last season, they just haven't really had a look in. And we've bought these players, we spent money on these players, and I felt a bit bad still for Koulibaly. Like, what must he be thinking? He didn't even get any time at all. But yeah, I thought Akoli played really well. I think he's shown why possibly quite a lot of us wanted him to play quite a lot more last year, given that the bar was so low in what was going on at the back. So yeah, it was great to see. And yeah, hopefully he's in the starting centre backs for me.
Jack?
Uncle Ayew, isn't it? It's got to be Jordan Ayew. Like, do you know what? He's impressed me all pre-season. Like, how he drops deep, he builds that play and let's get players getting behind. He's scoring goals. He's looking fit. He's looking sharp. He's not just in the middle of he's in his best persona in the middle. That's where he should be. He shouldn't be out wide doing whatever, but he does. He still goes and does it when he can, and he's winning all these free kicks and that. His hold-up plays got better. I mean, his set pieces, by the way, if he can keep doing them, we're going to cause problems in the Championship next season. If a big man can get on the end of them. I like Jordan Ayew. I think he's going to be something that's going to offer a lot to Leicester next season. So I'm going to go Jordan Ayew.
Even his corners. I mean, yeah. Can you believe we're actually getting a corner past the first man? It's like, I say, am I watching another team here? I have to say, I agree with all of you there, but Ayew for me was, I said last season, I can see him playing a big part this season because he can hold the ball up for the youngsters, the three behind, and we've got a great choice from about 6 players who could fit those 3 roles running onto him. I was quite impressed with Hamza Chowdhury. Was anybody else?
Yeah, down at right-hand side, I thought him and Fatawu linked up very well and caused all sorts of problems.
Yes. I mean, I think it was towards the end of the first half, and again, I said this last night, I saw him go down. I don't know if it was a foul or not. There wasn't one given. Fiorentina player carried on running towards the box. I've never seen a Leicester player in, I don't know how many years, get up as quickly as he did and run back to get in position to help the defence out. He didn't just go down and sort of roll over 2 or 3 times and what have you. I was really impressed. Do you think Hamza Craig has got? He's going to be heavily involved this season?
No, you know my thoughts on Hamza's performance at the weekend. I thought he would. A lot of people were raving about him, and I thought he should have been sent off. I thought he was very lucky. If that was not a friendly, he would have got at least 2 yellow cards in that game, easily. And I don't think you can afford that. My problem with him is that he doesn't have the composure needed that fits the rest of the team for me. I think he's great in his work rate, in his recovery. A lot of the recovery is because he's like a Kyle Walker light. A lot of his recovery is because he's given the ball away, or he's overrun it, or he's gone in for a challenge that he should never have gone in with. Because he plays with his heart, which we all love, but sometimes that gets you into bad positions, and he lunges into challenges that he's never going to win. And with better players, sharper players, he's going to get himself in trouble. And that's why he's never made it in the Premier League, to be honest. So down at this level, he can be, but I just think there's better options than Hamza, to be honest. My biggest issue with he's been here a long time, and I don't know that he's improved. Under any coach that he's been under, I love everything that people love about him. I just don't think he's good enough on the ball, and you can't just say that he runs around a lot because we slag Daka off, and he runs around a lot and tries everything. That you can't say that's okay in a defender, but it's not okay in a striker. So.
The only thing is with the striker, you expect them to score goals. But I get your point. I do totally get your point. Kate, your thoughts on Hamza?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he did okay at the weekend, but I know what Craig's saying. For me, I think we've moved through a phase of football now, and just football in general, where you need really confident ball players, and Hamza isn't that for me. I feel like his ball control lets him down. But I completely agree what Craig said. His reading of the game can be led with his heart, and he does get caught out. But saying that, I always like the side of him that puts a tackle in and leaves something on someone. I love that about him, and I don't think that there's enough of that in football anymore. Vardy used to do it a bit, but Vardy used to be better at it, I would guess, because he got away with it a bit more. But I don't mind people that go in hard, and I think sometimes you need it. He's going to be up against some decent players in the Championship that would also give him a hard time. But yeah, I don't think he's quite disciplined enough, and I don't think what we need from him is he's quite good enough. But I think he absolutely has a place in the squad. I would just prefer JJ or Ricky P in that right back role, to be honest.
He could easily do a job just covering across it as one of those two defensive mids.
Yeah,
and then just recovering the ball. You know, in the old days when we used to have play like a Savage, you know, his job was just to win the ball back and then give it to someone better. If he's in that kind of role,
I think he's okay. I think he's always quite glad to go forward. I think he's always glad to help out and be an option. But yeah, I think he would be more of a squad youth this year, to be honest, rather than first pick, I think. But yeah, overall, it was just a solid team performance. I thought it was unexpected, especially against decent opposition. You know, Fatawu made that fullback look an idiot all match, and I'm surprised he didn't get hooked sooner. You know, there was some real amazing performances going on, really. A real cohesive unit we looked for the first time in a while.
Anybody that's playing Wanker Bingo tonight, it's 35 minutes. You can go for the top corner for our first Twitch person to come in and try and sell us cheap viewers. So there you go. Sven, welcome along, mate. Welcome along. I'm sure absolutely nobody's going to take you up on that offer. Buying viewers, yeah. Why do you do it on Twitch? I do not know. Jack, my worry is, look, we'd all love Ricardo.
Yeah.
To be there. You know, I mean, even now when he's on, you know, when he's fit and he's on it, you know, he's the captain. He's brilliant at that role. But we just don't know. It's 75 grand a week he's on. Like I say, to take up a bed at the General. I mean, if we haven't got
money to do that.
Sorry?
It's a lot of money to do things like that, Chris, at the General.
Well, exactly. Is it time to let Ricardo go, even buy him out of his contract? Because he's got injured already, and we've not even kicked a ball in anger yet.
Well, just hope a few of them players don't do the same thing this season. You know what Seagrave's like. To be fair, I love Ricky P to bits. He's got a year left on his contract. It's going to be hard to move him on because the teams are not going to want to take a punt on a player who gets injured a lot. His injury record will put a lot of teams off. He's a squad player. He is, Ricky P. He's passionate. He's everything you want in a fullback, to be honest. He's, you know, prime Ricky P were fantastic, I'll be honest. But them years, you can see glimmers of it still. But then the injuries is what happens to him more times than not these days. And you always want that experienced head in the dressing room, someone who's everyone can go to, can talk to, like Buonanotte. But yeah, I think I'd keep him personally. I don't think we're going to be able to get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, he's our third highest wage earner. Actually, 80,000 he's on. 4.16 million a year. If we said to him, like, here's £1 million, Ricardo, go and get yourself a new club, let him go, that's still going to have saved us. That's still going to leave us with £3 million. You could go out and buy a replacement for that. I don't know, somebody like Koulibaly, Craig.
I know most weeks you're trying to get rid of Ricardo. And
not most weeks, only when he plays. So that's probably about once or twice a year.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's a great guy to have around as well. And I hope that he moves into a coaching role because I think he's got a hell of a lot to give. The way he conducts himself as a player is a great example to the younger players coming through. And tactically, I think his awareness is good. I'd be really surprised if he wasn't already working on his coaching badges, because he's had enough time.
I would say he's had the time to do it, hasn't he? Yeah.
So yeah, obviously, you don't want him taking up wages when he's not going to play. I think he's a great player, but I also think he's a great player to have around. And if you can find him another role on reduced wages, then I'd be more than happy with that.
I would totally agree. Another role on, lesser wages, £4 million to have somebody, that can go in and give you a pep talk is a lot of money.
If we said, right, we're going to go, because I know we develop players, but I do wonder whether we develop coaches as well. We've got so many players at a club, surely there's a room in a facility like we've got as well to develop coaches and have your own coaches coming through. And I know we've got coaches for each age group, but whether we can identify people like Ricardo and say, right, we're going to pay for all your coaching, go away and do your coaching, and then come back and you'll have a part of the organisation. I know maybe that's a way that we move in the future as well. So it's not only players that you're nurturing, you're also nurturing the coaches to come through it as well.
Kate, I mean, that's a very, very good point. I never thought I'd say that about Craig, but no, it was a very good point raised. All these experienced players that we've lost over the past 3 or 4 years. Where's Morgan, for example? Could he not have done a coaching role for, the defence? We've got Muzzy he's into coaching kids. Could he not be doing something with the midfield? It's a good point, and I can see where Craig's coming from with that. And I think that's probably something we should start looking at.
Yeah, maybe. I suppose the first one is Andy King, isn't it? He's the first one that he probably finished his badges at Bristol, I think, but he's come back to Leicester and wanted to pursue his career. But yeah, it's disappointing that Morgan and Albrighton even weren't given some kind of roles at the club. I'm not sure Albrighton would have fancied coaching. He seems to be enjoying life on the sidelines very much rather than being involved in the games itself. So, but he certainly could have done some sort of ambassador role. And Wes, I think you could have got him involved. Even Huth. I mean, Huth was the loans manager for a bit. Yeah, there's all those options, but I think it comes down to money a bit. I don't know what these people would want. It's a bit odd that they weren't offered roles. I don't really understand it, particularly in Albrighton and Morgan have gone on to their respective home clubs and got opportunities there. It's just really disappointing to see, because they're our adoptive children now, aren't they? They'll always be sons of the club, really. So it's disappointing, but it's something to consider for sure. I think it's just always very hit and miss with training coaches, because it doesn't necessarily mean that there'll be a job opening for them when they're qualified. Right. And then also someone like Ricardo, he may just want to go home to Portugal and do something there. Like, he's obviously well thought of at Porto and stuff. So I don't know, but it's a good idea in principle.
In Jack,
happen.
Yeah, no, indeed. Jack, I mean, it's almost like you could have, say, I don't know, an ex-striker, maybe a striker that would, have scored 10 goals in 10 straight games to come in and get your strikers firing. Oh, no, we tried that, didn't we? That didn't work. I love you, Rude. Why did you have to go? But look, let's start with you. We're going to go through the sort of section. Now I'm going to presume that, and I know you should never presume that we're going to be playing the 4-2-3-1 formation. I'm going to start with the goalkeeper. It looks like Mads isn't at least going to West Ham. I don't know if anybody else is going to come in for him. But they were saying that West Ham are now pursuing options elsewhere. So, and that came from Fabrizio earlier on today. Who starts for you?
It's got to be Mads, on it. That's where I'd go.
I think you tell me.
Yeah, I'd definitely have Mads. He's our best keeper, even though Reece seems to think that Stolarsk's better. So I'm gonna go with Mads. I think we've got to go with our stronger keeper.
Craig, which way would you go with that?
Yeah, Mads is as Jack said, is the best keeper. Is the keeper we brought in, you know, and people want him. He was a little bit dodgy, as I said the other night. He was a little bit dodgy coming back from injury, but then when you look at what he was playing behind. He was exposed a lot, and that knocks everyone's confidence, I think. But he's by far and away the best keeper, and it's Mads for me.
Kate?
Yeah, if he's there for picking, I think you've got no option but to choose him. But my argument to that would be I think he's the golden egg that Leicester have to sell this window to try and make PSR work and be continually going back to our old model of selling a good player and get a good profitable asset each summer. And similarly, it might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm yet to be convinced Mads will return the same keeper as he was pre-injury because we haven't seen it. When he came back in January, I know he obviously needed that operation, which he's since had, but I still didn't feel like he came back the same keeper, and he didn't look like it on Sunday either. So I like Jakob. I think that's the perfect situation to sell an asset because you have got a really good person waiting in the wings. So, but I think, if he's here, Mads is going to get the shout for sure.
We're presuming he's here for this, yeah. But do you think though? All right, we have got in that case if he does stay, and I get what he's saying. Him and El Canus are the ones that are going to be bringing any decent transfer money in. More so Mads because he's got longer, obviously, on his contract and hasn't got a get-out clause. But Kate, as you look at it now, you've got Mads Hermansson, Stolarczyk, and Bekovic. I mean, that is the three. Probably you don't need anybody else in that because you've got Bowser coming through as well. And what's your thoughts on Bekovic? I mean, he's there in sort of that Schwarzer, Jokovic role, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's what I sort of thought him as, really, that Schwarzer role, really. He's really experienced. I think he can offer a lot in terms of coaching and just the mental approach to take to keep it. He's played for some really good clubs. So I think that's the role that he will have, and he kind of almost intimated as much in his interview as well that I watched last week. So he's going to be maybe the cup goalkeeper, but more or less the reserve, and we need somebody in to maybe do some coaching as well and some being a mentor.
That would make sense, and he's kind of hinted at that, hasn't he? And since Mike Stow went, I know we had the Rottweiler, whatever his name was, with Rude. He was a goalkeeper coach, but he was more of his assistant manager. I think he could fulfil that role perfectly. Jack, your two centre back. I think I know where this is going. I've spoken to you a lot recently. Are you going to surprise me?
No, I'm going to stick with Okoli and Nelson. I like that partnership. I think watching them two in pre-season, I think they're fantastic players, and if you can put them together next season, I think you've got a very good, probably the best centre-back partnership in the Championship, in my opinion.
Craig, I mean, I think Nelson is a shoo-in. I think he's a future captain. He's already had the captain's armband. When we played those two games in one day, I think he was the only player, correct me if I'm wrong, there may have been one other, but that actually played in both the games. So Marty obviously thinks a lot of him. Oxford absolutely, they've come out and said he's too good for Leicester. Don't know what that makes him for Oxford, but there we go. Which two would you start with?
It's really tricky for me because I know it's a very unpopular view, but I'd be playing Farce. And then I've got to choose who plays alongside him. And I'd probably go with Okoli, to be honest. I think Nelson can play either side. So I think he's an ideal person to have sitting on the bench. I know at some point you've got to blood him, and he had a good championship season with Oxford. So it's a really tricky one. But I think, Farce is still at the club. He's, the Championship it would be a stroll for him, I think. I like him more than you do. I know that, but I like him. I think more than most Leicester fans, but
even more than Michael in the chat there. AOWF.
But I mean, the thing is, people look at about 4 games and then they forget the 34 or whatever, you know, where he hasn't done anything wrong and he's been a solid performer. And then your mistakes, you know, it's like an Amazon review. You can read 20 great reviews. If you see one-star review, all of a sudden you don't want it. So I'd be playing Farce and probably start with a Coley.
I mean, I said, look, everybody knows my feelings on Farce, but I would. It's got to be this now. We're kicking off, you know, properly this Sunday. We draw that line. Everybody gets a fresh start. It's a new manager. You know, look at Vestergaard under Enzo. He was written off. You could argue he wouldn't have got the start if Cody would have been fit, but he didn't. He got in there, and he was probably our best defender that season. So, look, I don't want any Leicester player to fail, because if they're failing, then, you know, they're not doing well for the club. But I know I take your point. He will start for me with.
What I would say, Chris, is if there's any indication that Farce is angling for a move, then don't play him. If he's with the attitude that he's going to knuckle down and he wants to be part of this squad, then I think you play him.
Yeah. I haven't heard of anything, to be honest, in fairness to him. Kate?
I was quite shocked at what Craig said there about Fast. I don't know whether anyone else felt like that. I've never heard Craig adore Fast so much.
I think that's pushing it a little.
Oh, you haven't been on for a while, Kate. You've missed it all.
I'm the opposite. I am the exact mirror image of that. I think there has been 4 good performances and 34 shockers. But that's my, not shockers, below par. I call him the wandering Woot, don't I, Chris? I call him the wandering weird. Get that weird thing off your lap, you absolute freak. It looks weird.
Don't call Wout Faze weird. That would be very unkind to him.
The scary thing is, Chris has just taken his shorts off and he's not shaved.
What did I just say? If Wout Faze goes, I'm sending this back to Amazon for a refund, or I've got to dye it black and pretend to be Hamza Chowdhury. I'm not sure which of them. But yeah, Kate. Look, I mean, I argue. You know, we've had a few discussions, arguments, haven't we, Craig, about Faze? But he's got to be given a fair start along with everybody else.
No, he hasn't. He's rubbish. Anyway, my choice is, I agree with Jack. I really would like Nelson and a Coley. I think he'll go with a Coley and Vestergaard, I think is what he'll do. Which you can understand why. I think Vestergaard shone in the Championship, and who's to say he won't again. He's just got that temperament on him, hasn't he? Who's he going to fall out with this season? I think answers on the postcard. But yeah, I think he will go with those 2, but I would like to hope that Nelson will gradually integrate into the team on a regular basis, so that come next season, whatever league we're in, he'll be the starter.
Just make a note of this, Craig. On this day, when you were supporting Wout Faze, that it wasn't me that said he was useless. It was little Miss there. Yes.
It's just also with the fact that, I don't know, he thinks he's prime time Vidic or something.
I look at the team that we had in the Championship list last time, and there were players who were far above and beyond anyone else in the Championship, and I thought Farce was one of them. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure how Vestergaard gets near the team, to be honest.
I was going to say, look, I think Vestergaard did well in the Championship. I would agree, going up to the Premier League, that that's too much for him. But in the Championship, I don't think he did anything bad. I think what he does is gets his job. Yes, he played a couple of suicide passes as well. But for me, as I've said before, I would like to see a Coley and Nelson, but I think we need either A, Vestergaard, or now Cody's gone, B, Faze, to come in as that experienced centre-back, if we're under the cosh. I'm not sure whether that is Faze or not. But of course, don't forget, we've got 46 plus, a few cup games as well. This is just the team that we want to see start against Wednesday. Jack, you're left back and right back.
Jesus Christ.
No, he's not available.
Yeah.
He's injured with Ricardo. He's in the next step. and anyway, Jack, he's a goalkeeper because we all know Jesus saves.
Oh God!
I'm back, everyone.
Send that back with the Woot wig.
If Ricky P's not fit, I'm gonna have to go with. I'll go with Hamza. And if Justin's fit, I'm gonna go Justin at left back and Hamza at right back.
Do you think we should be selling Justin?
Yeah, I'd sell him. I'd sell him £6 million, hands down.
Yeah. I was worried that somebody's going to say put Justin at right back here.
He'll go with Luke Thomas, to be fair.
Yeah, I've got my finger over the delete button in case anybody does say just change Justin at right back.
Yeah, wait for me then, Chris.
Yeah, if anybody's going to do it, I know it's going to be. Can you imagine James Justin at right back and Boutface right centre back? Oh my
We're
God!
not in the Premier League anymore. You keep forgetting this.
Are we not? Did I miss that? Did I fall asleep and miss that? Yeah, I'm happy. I like Luke Thomas. I think he should start because I do think James Justin, if we do get a decent offer in for him, will go. Craig, dare I ask, your left back and right back?
Thomas and Justin. Justin's a better right back than anyone else we've got if Ricardo's not fit, in my opinion, and that's all it is.
Sorry, did I not see all the times we got ripped one off down that?
I don't know how many times I have to also say that Justin was asked to get forward and be an attacking right back, and nobody bothered to cover his space. He made some mistakes because, like the rest of the team did, but we have a great thing of picking on scapegoats, making scapegoats of people. And I'm not sure that he was any worse than anyone else, but he's been asked to get forward as well. And in the Championship, he's got an engine on him, and he'll get forward and backwards, and he'll be fine, Chris. It's not the Premier League. He'll be fine as a right back.
In your opinion, I know that's fair enough. At football, we do know it is all about opinions. All I would say is, if I can find it in time.
Wrong. Here we go.
Yeah,
your opinion is wrong.
There we go. But I got it. So Thomas and Justin for you, left and right. Let's come to the voice of reason.
I do agree with what Craig said about the Justin right back situation. He was hung out to dry and he had no cover. However, I want Justin on the left. I think he's much better on the left. I think Luke Thomas has been all right. All right, Brendan, calm down. I think Luke Thomas has been all right as a fill-in, but I won't want him any more than that. And then I suppose, it pains me to say it, but if Ricky P isn't fit, that only really leaves Hamza, because I'm not sure what Koulibaly's about, because we've not really seen him. So Ricky P, but if not, then it will be Hamza.
Kate, do you think Hamza's a better fullback than Thomas?
No.
But you're prepared to leave Thomas out because you don't want to play JJ as a right back?
I don't like JJ on the right.
Yeah, I think it's harsh on Thomas because I think he's good. But again, this is the thing. We've got a lot of players, haven't we, who are all of who are all of a similar standard, and it is you can make arguments for each of them on any given occasion based on the slightest thing. You're right.
And I said on Sunday, I can't remember what happened, but Thomas did something quite good on Sunday. And I said to my friend who was with that I think he'll have a belter of a season if he starts regularly, Luke Thomas. I don't know why I feel that, I just do. And I feel like he's he's had a poor run over the last couple of seasons from loads of different reasons. He was thrown in the deep end by Brendan and he wasn't given any armbands, and that I'm not sure he's ever properly recovered from that. But I feel like the last part of the Premier League season, he was one of the better players. I know the bar was incredibly low, but he was one of the ones that did string together a fairly regular performance. So yeah, it swings and roundabouts with all of them, to be honest. But I don't like JJ on the right. I think it's a bit idiotic almost to play someone who's so favoured and used to the left, then switch him sides at this level of football. I think it's quite mad.
Sorry, Kate.
But that's my opinion.
For a moment there, I've got to say, I literally, and I know I'm an old man, and these sort of things happen, but I nearly pooed my pants then because I thought you actually said Woot Thomas. It was
Look, child.
I'm going to say, can you imagine? Oh my God. Manny's in. Welcome, Manny, from Blue Tinted Glasses. Thomas should start. You cannot be serious, man. Liability. Look, I'm going to say, I don't like Justin on the right. I can understand, if, Ricardo's injured, and he probably will be, let's be honest with you, and there's nobody else. But I don't get the fact of playing the left back on the right when we've got a right back sometimes doesn't even get on the bench, in Koulibaly. Why did we go and spend, 2 or 3 million on him? I don't understand that. And that's not just Marty, but that's, Rude and what have you as well. So I don't get it. Right, now, let's get interesting, shall we? Our 2 times defensive midfielders. Jack. I mean, I said the other day that when we played Cologne, I really wanted to see Winks and Skip together for 90 minutes because we haven't really seen much of them together. Yeah, they have played together a few times, but it's usually been one or the other. At the end of the Cologne game, I never wanted to see Winks and Skip play together again, I've got to say. And I said to you last night, have we got a Lampard-Gerrard situation here where, they can't basically play together? And if so, who are your 2 defensive midfielders? Because it looks like indeed he's going.
Yeah, I don't think... See, with Winks, I'd prefer him with Samori because I think it'd work, to be honest, where Samori is an advanced number 6. But... basing it off the Fiorentina game, skipping Samore, he might consider skipping to that one. So I tell you what, I'm going to go Winks and Samore.
Okay. As anybody knows, Samaris for me is in the same bracket as Wout Faith, but he's going to get he's going to get a fair start as everybody is under the new manager. So let's see. We have seen these players suddenly. I mean, I said to you, I think it's supposed to be a box-to-box midfielder. I don't think you do box-to-box in Amazon's warehouse, and they're like 2 feet away from each other. But Craig, I had to ask you, I'm really not sure what your answer's going to be here. I mean, who are your 2 for the midfield defensive?
I know we talk about centre forward, but as it stands, based on what I've seen over the past season and a half, I think this is our weakest area of the pitch. I really hope we end up getting Brownhill. That's what I would say.
Yeah. I think we'd all. Well, I don't know about Kate, but I think we'd all echo that.
I think.
No, I agree.
I think it's a tough one because I was disappointed in Skip, to be honest, and Samari. I thought they both had an opportunity to show what they could do. And I've said this before, I don't see Skip having the stature of a midfield player who can take control of a game, who can make himself the main man in there. He just looks like he's happy to play second fiddle to someone. And sometimes you need that, you need a balance. I thought Winks looked good, actually, when he came on. He made a couple of really nice turns and sort of got forward. And I think he created a chance for, I think it was for McAteer or Dako when Dako had his bad first touch.
That's always.
I'm going to get to it. I could see with Winks and Hamza and Bilal in front, I could see us almost replicating a Lennon Savage Is It triangle with that player who kind of can get a lot of pitch coverage, like Savage. Wasn't the best on the ball, but he did a lot of the dirty work and allowed the other two to do, what they're better at. So although I haven't got him down here as a midfielder, I don't think anybody else makes a strong enough thing. So I'm going to go Winks and Hamza.
Let's be honest with you. Again, I see where you are going with that. I mean, Hamza started out, didn't he, as a midfielder,
Yeah.
and I used to like him because he was the guy that would go out and let you know he was there.
Yeah.
Kate.
Gosh, it's too difficult. It is our biggest problem area for sure.
Who'd be a manager, eh? Who'd be a manager?
I was disappointed in Samari at the weekend. I'm disappointed in Samari 99.2% of the time. I think the 0.8 is made up from his little Ipswich performance that we've seen last season, where he just looked like amazing. But yeah, he was really disappointing again. Skip, I know he hasn't necessarily covered himself in glory, but he has not had a run of games like Samare has. We've seen Samare now. We know him inside out, and I'm still not convinced we've had that of Skip. Because they both like playing a little bit second fiddle, then those two kind of players together don't suit each other then. So with that in mind, I suppose I just don't know. I completely understand Craig's point of view. I like Hamza in the middle more, to be honest. So I suppose if Ricky P is fit, I would be inclined to agree with Craig there, because I'd not even thought about bringing him back into the centrefold. But I don't know whether that would be on the cards for a manager to do now, because he seems to have been pushed into that right back role.
Choice. This is your choice. Why not move players around? It's not like he can't play there, is it?
No.
He's a bit of a utility player, if anything, Hamza, isn't he?
Yeah. But I would have Winks, because I just think how he played in the Championship last time was brilliant. I don't think we'd have got where we got to without him. I think he will enjoy this style of football way more, which seems to be he's quite an emotive player, and that's obviously told last year. I think he clearly got fed up with Rude, rightly or wrongly, and we all did. So I feel his pain. So we'll just have to see. But I think I'm just going to stick with what I was going to say, which was Winks and Samare. I know I've just completely contradicted myself there.
Okay. Oh God, I'm gonna got some Tipex, please. All right, Winks and Samare. Look, interestingly, at the moment we're not talking youngsters, but that may change. But the interesting thing about that is all three of you have gone for Winks. Is that subject to him moving back more locally, or are you happy with him living down in London? Asking for a friend.
Did you have your choice, Jack?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who was yours? Sorry.
Winks and Samari.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Because we all thought, Winks was out of the picture, and then we've all picked him.
Winks.
I know you, for example, Craig, were very on Rude's side when it comes to Winks. Now, as far as I know, Winks is still living down there.
On a lot of money, and you have to do the things that you don't necessarily like. You can't have it all your own way, And if the manager says, "I need you to be up here for the good of the team for a little bit," then you have to do it. I didn't like his attitude at that point.
Yeah. Scott, well said, mate, and he's gone. I've banned him, so I think mine's 24 hours, so he isn't going to come back. So I'm just surprised. I thought Winks was really good when he comes on. It is a lack of choice. I know what you're saying, but I would probably, I'd say I would definitely have Winks in, and I'd probably have somebody like Alves in there.
Ooh. I
know he's more of an attacking, but I don't like the two defensive anyway. Or Baybrook, or one of the youngsters. Page possibly, Yeah. So I just can't go for Samare. Like I say, I think somebody would put him in a box and send him somewhere. Right.
Oh, bloody hell. Oh dear, you're funny.
Like Steve, Chris.
Sorry.
Yeah, like Steve.
Don't like him. But he gets a free, he gets a free go. Marty might turn him into, primetime Messi. We never know. Jack, yes, miracles can happen. Jack, you're 3 across the midfield, and I guess, like I said, we're not talking about anybody who may be going, because at the moment nobody else has gone apart from Cody. Wasn't that good news, eh? But you're 3, I think I said, I know where you're probably all 3 of you are going here, but you're 3 across the middle as it stands to start. Like I say, people can come on during the game, but you're 3 to start.
I would personally stick with Mavadidi on the left. Monga will start games this season. He'll probably get about 20, maybe 25 starts in this season due to the complex of the championship games. So El Canoes, I don't think you can really miss him out, can you? He is going to be here for the weekend. He's a very good player, and he makes my first get a team sheet, to be honest. Fatawu and El Canoes, they tore up Fiorentina, and you're going to have to fancy him against Sheffield Wednesday. So them 3, he's my ideal 3 for the weekend. It's
funny because I said at the end of last season, I would love to see in the Championship, Ayo up front, and Mavadidi, El Canoes and Fatawu was the 3 behind. I mean, Fatawu's just come back, and my God, I'm not saying that he would have kept us up, but it would have been, I think, a more of a fight if we'd had him last season. Craig, are you going to disagree with that at all? Are you going to pick a rabbit out the hat here for us?
I'm going to go for ditto.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is he a new Italian hotshot?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he signed him from Juventus. Yeah.
I think that's the. I feel a little bit sorry for. I shouldn't feel sorry for any of these. They're all professional footballers. But for Monga, because I think coming through, nearly all of his youth team appearances and for England have all been off the right. And he seems to have been pushed out to the left because McAteer can't play there. So when he wants to make changes, it's like McAteer has to come on the right because he can't go left. And then Monga goes on the left-hand side. But, everything I've seen of him, I'm not saying he's not been, great down that side, but I just think there's more of him. I'd like to see more of him on the right. But you can't go against Abdul, El Canoes and Mavadidi for me.
He is going to get his chances, Monga. But look,
definitely.
If this was you and me, Craig, we'd have been free to play all the games because we used to leave school when we were 15 in our day, didn't we? But
it was interesting. It was interesting how he struggled against some quality Italian defenders when he came on. He got absolutely nothing out of any of them. But the good thing was that it didn't discourage him. Every time he got it, he still tried to take them on. So that's a great sign.
We're probably not going to come up against that many defences like that this coming season. Yeah, there'll be the odd one or two. But are you going to make it a full bag, Kate?
Yep, I am indeed.
And do you see, McAteer and Monga? Do you see that? I mean, look, for me, I wouldn't start Monga because, and I know the argument is you should always start with your best team, but bringing him on 60, 70 minutes when the opposition are knackered and just letting him go at them, to me, it's like, they're just going to not know what's hit them.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's how most people are integrated into first teams, isn't it? Starting those end of the period of games to integrate themselves. So yeah, we've just still got to be careful with Monga a little bit. We don't want a heap of pressure putting on his shoulders because he's just the thing that's being talked about at the moment. He is still growing, which means from what I understand of the little biology that I did is that means you're prone to injury because your muscles and skeletal system still isn't directly in proportion as it should be. So it makes you more prone to injury as a sportsman. So you've just got to be careful with him, but you don't want to also not reward him for being excellent. So it's a real fine balance. And it seems to me that if we're judging pre-season, he's very much in Marty's plans in the 11, 12, 13, which is encouraging to see. But he will also meet defences that will figure him out. We've seen it with Haaland a little bit. Haaland's not going to get 50 goals a season again because defenses just figure you out. You are against professional seasoned pros. They may not be as skillful, they may not be as fast, but they can outsmart you because that's their job. So you've just got to tread carefully with it, really. But we do want to see more of him. But yeah, I agree with you. Second half, last 30 minutes type of thing, cup games, just to get him fully at the pace that he needs to be.
And there'll be cup games, like you said, when probably he will start. Our second game is the Carabao Cup game.
I think Casey looked really sharp on Sunday. I don't know whether you thought that, guys, but I thought some of his sprints that he did, he looked really, really sharp. I thought for a minute Daka had taken him out for the season at the first when he collided with him. But yeah, I think Casey looks sharp as well. So I think he'll be in that sort of 12, 13 mainstay of players because it's a long old season, plenty of games, loads of midweeks. So players will need rotating. So you're going to need a good 13, 14, almost starters, really.
I mean, I think McAteer has got, I don't particularly necessarily like him as a winger because he doesn't have a trick. But what I do like is his ability to see space and attack it. And he did that when he got through where he should have scored before he took the other chance off Daka. He saw the gap, and he did that early on last season when, and the season before when he was playing out wide. There's almost a little bit of a striker about him more than a winger, I think, because of the way he can see space and attack space. And at some point, I'd like to see him playing through the middle and see whether he's got that, because that turn of pace.
He did a bit, didn't he, as well?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think he just sees space and he'll go and attack it, and. So I think that's another option. So, it'd be interesting. I think it's great that we've got so many attacking options.
Well, who would have thought after the season we've just had, with a possible transfer embargo, that PS are definitely probably going to affect us in some way, not being able to do, or the club themselves saying we can't buy until we sell, and yet we're sat here thinking, well, who do we start? Because he's good, and I never thought we would end up in this position. Last week, Jack, I put, if it's Saturday, it must be Richard Coney linked. We're getting. I did wonder whether there was a rainbow had appeared over the King Power, because at the end of the rainbow there was a pot of gold that we'd just been given, because we've been linked with every player virtually under the sun. But I do like the cut of this man's jib. Let's be honest with you, going down the divisions, it's worked out well for us in the past. But looking at who we've got there, who are you starting in that centre forward role?
Jordan Ayew.
Uncle Ayew.
Uncle Ayew, he's going in. I tell you what, though, if we can get our money for Ndidi, I know they've made fresh talks tonight, West Ham, over Mads Hermansen. So if we can get some good money there, then we can sign Richard Coney, bring him in. New striker for next week, potentially.
He does look good. It makes me laugh this time of year. We get all excited, and you can literally have two newspapers both reporting on the same story. One saying he's not coming, the other one saying, oh, he's still in talks. It's totally weird. It's totally weird. All I saw earlier was Fabrizio saying that West Ham were looking at somebody else, and
Sally's crooking Ben Jacobs.
Who knows? Craig, knowing the way you've gone today, you'll probably go with Daka.
I don't see why that would be so funny, to be honest.
No, Jack. Why are you laughing? Jack?
He's touching in front of goal. I'm sorry.
The thing is, again,
him score against Sheffield Wednesday.
There's a player there because, and he's clearly, like so many of them are, a confidence player. Nobody would have said that when he was banging in 4 goals in Europe. Nobody said, "Oh, what a shocking touch."
No.
But when he's playing without confidence, then it is. But having said all that, I'd be starting with Ayew, because I think the pair of them give you different things at different times of the game, and I think Ayew is the ideal guy to start and hold the ball up and take control of the game and keep possession a little bit more. and then Daka for the last sort of 20, 25 minutes, I think is an ideal replacement. And the way he created chances for other players at the weekend by his closing down and just ball recoveries, I thought was great, and I think both of them give you different things at different times of the game. So I would start with IE.
Hey.
Yeah, definitely Jordan. I thought he looked good down the middle, which I thought he would do. I think on the wings last year he was given a bit of an uphill task. And he looked like an 80-year-old needing a new hip.
And we all.
It looks like that when he gets subbed off, mind you. He walks slower than anything I've ever seen move. Like there's snails overtaking the guy.
He was borderline moonwalk and he was going backwards.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely IU down the middle. I think this could be a good season for him. So yeah, looking forward.
Again, who'd have thought we'd have said that 12 months ago?
No, I know. But we talked about this at the end of last season when it was all doom and gloom. All it takes, and people were worried about if we're going to sell out the stadium or, will people come and watch Leicester again this year? Of course they will. If there's a re-energised team and we start scoring and we start winning, that's all people want to see. And I don't think it matters what league you're in at the end of the day. They just want to see their local club and have a bit of escapism and go and watch the football and watch some good stuff. So
I saw, Jack, I was watching it, like I say, on YouTube, and you obviously, when you're watching something on there, you can only see the stand that's opposite you. Yeah. And I thought it looked a decent crowd, but now I've seen some of the videos where it's been taken at different angles. I was surprised at how many seats were empty.
Yeah, when you're charging £20 a ticket, it's like, okay, you know what I mean? People who don't want to pay it. Football is getting expensive, isn't it? I'll be honest, but I don't think we was always expecting a full house for Fiorentina. If it were like Barcelona or Real Madrid, you'd feel that easy, wouldn't you? But I just don't think people fancied it.
Craig, I mean, there were 6 in the Italian league. We always end up now, since King Power have taken us over, we've had Barcelona, we've had Real Madrid, we've had, I think, a couple of German clubs in. It is always the big one. And to be honest with you, I'd have probably sooner gone and seen them than us play against, any of the other teams if they'd been at home.
Yeah, I think that you've got to get the balance, haven't you? You've got to get, at the end of it, it's your last friendly before your season starts. So you've got to have someone who offers a challenge, but someone of a level where you're going to have enough of the ball. If you come and get a Real Madrid, it's going to be great for the fans, but are you going to learn anything about your team going into the new season? I'm not sure you are. So it was great when we used to get the really big clubs coming, but I think those days have gone. Because they want it. Every big club is in a tournament these days, whether it's in the States or China or God knows what. So I think picking someone like Fiorentina was good for us, that they offer enough of a challenge, but you still learn something about your own players. So I think there was about 10 or 11,000 in there.
Kate, what was happening? I mean, the atmosphere last season was obviously very, very toxic. What was it like on Saturday? On Sunday, even on Saturday, it would have been very quiet.
It was quiet. It was completely empty. No one turned up.
Okay.
Sunday, it was just really quiet. It felt more like a family day. Probably lots of fans going that don't usually go to the football. It felt a bit like that, and there was no hostility or anything like that. I would have liked the Fatawu song to come on when he scored. I thought the chant might start, but it didn't. And then the guy playing the drum was sat on his own on the back row. I don't know if you saw him up there by himself. It was really quiet, typical friendly type of atmosphere, really. Lots of young kids there, which was nice to see. I'm hopeful with that performance anyway, and obviously with it being free on YouTube to watch, that a lot of fans will have watched it that are going this weekend, and hopefully there'll be a warm welcome, particularly for Marty.
Yes. Yeah,
it was great. I'm going to say it was a good point, Kate, because there was a lot of kids who were there who you could tell hadn't been before. It was, because it's difficult to get tickets, and they were really excited. And there was one young kid coming down the stairs afterwards saying to his dad how amazing it was, and what a great time that he'd had. And
That wasn't Scott, was it?
yeah, it was. Yeah,
I think it's when you're little and you first go up the steps and see the ground and see the pitch. It's quite a moment, isn't it?
Yeah, there was a lot there who for whatever reason can't get tickets for the normal games. And to be honest, you don't really want your kids going into that toxic atmosphere. It's not. Last year, it wasn't a nice place to take your kids. So I think this was a great opportunity, and it was really good to see a lot of young kids coming in and getting their first time taste of football.
Guys, we're going to be back at 9 o'clock with Talking Balls. As it says at the bottom underneath, it's football gym, but not as we know it. It's the show, I always say, that sets itself very low standards and fails to come up to them. So it's a kind of football show, but in the loosest possible terms. One of the things we're going to be talking about tonight, so I'm going to throw this at you three, one-word answers. The player that, well, what Brad likes to call redemption players, the player that's going to do the Vestergaard, that we've written off, that's going to come good this season. One player from each of you. Jack, you're going to get the first choice.
Jesus Christ.
No, he doesn't play. He's dead. Jackie's dead.
I can't physically actually be put on the spot with this, to be fair, because if I say Samari, I'm just going to
you can say Samari.
Whatever you think.
This is a safe space, Jack.
Right.
No, but nobody's watching, mate. Nobody watches this channel. You'll be fine, just say.
I'll tell you what, I'll go with Oliver Skip.
Skip. Ooh, okay. Craig?
JJ.
Ooh, okay. Is that on the right or the left? Anywhere.
He could play midfield. Yeah.
Kate, it's your last chance to come up for Bobby DeCover-Reid, but are you going to go for it?
Well, I said it on Sunday, so I'm going to say it again. I think Luke Thomas is going to have a belter. I don't know why I feel like that, but I do.
Brilliant.
Even though you benched him.
Great.
Jack, you and me, we'll just sit this one out. We'll just let them do this.
Right.
Craig's coming with his fists out tonight, isn't he? He's picking Luke Fast as the Defender of the Year and all kinds of crazy stuff.
I think he's had a row with the missus, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that would involve speaking to her.
What do you don't like to interrupt her?
No. I don't even get an hour at 9 o'clock now Love Island's finished.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, don't go there. Don't go there. Brilliant. All right, Craig, thank you very much. Kate, thank you very much as well. Appreciate you both coming on. Jack, final whistle. What have you got coming up?
The late night whistle at 9 o'clock.
I don't want to go and watch that, everybody. Come and watch Talking Balls. Let's be honest with you. Watch one and then watch the other on catch up. That's the way to do it. Sounded like a parrot there, didn't I? Yeah. Pick one, watch it, and then go and watch the other one afterwards, you know. But, thanks very much, everybody. Remember, if you're in the chat and you haven't done it yet, like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. If you're watching on catch-up, get your comments in below, and let's say if you're listening via your favourite podcast platform, and I think it's about 1,000 now off £100,000. £100,000, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? 100,000 downloads on our podcast for the seasons. Last season, obviously not this season. So thank you very much for your support there, guys. Have a good night. Let's football's back. Yes. Take care, everybody. I'll see you again. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.